this again. So a lot has happened on the car since last time. I basically took a break, which was really needed. It was kind of starting to ruin my summer, but it gave me some time to order some parts and do some other things, so that was good. Let me show you what we got going on here. Okay, so the engine's coming apart obviously because I've got bad head gasket. Oil pan has been resealed. That was leaking really bad, and I just took this as an opportunity to take care of that. So that's happening. I managed to get all 4 of the cam pulleys loose without the tool. I'm probably gonna get the tool to re-bolt everything just because that was kind of a pain, but I managed to get it. Obviously, timing belt is off. All the timing marks were already worn off of the belt, even after just a few drives, which is a bummer. So new timing belt will be coming in. I did manage to get one of the valve covers off on this side. I'm gonna do it each at a time. We can see our cams, so those will have to come out to get to the head bolts. Not too bad as far as I can tell, but I'm not super looking forward to it. I have a plan to do each head at a time, so I'll unbolt the intake manifold here and then slide the head off and then bolt it back up once I've got the new gasket in and whatever. And then this side will also happen the same way. So that's kind of my plan. All right, so we're back under the fender again. So we're looking at this. We're gonna get the cams out tonight, hopefully, and possibly the heads off, depending on how ambitious I'm feeling tonight, honestly. I've set up a little table just so I can kind of keep track of stuff. Here's my kit, head bolts. I got some good head gaskets. What did I get? 6-star head gaskets. I got some 6 stars and then just a kit with general stuff. This did come with head gaskets, but I wanted to get the good stuff. A buddy of mine let me know what I should buy, but I can use a lot of the hardware from the kit. Valve cover off, tried to clean it up a little bit, but it's pretty gross. I'll clean it up before it goes back on. Since I got the cam pulleys loose, we're gonna pull those off first and forget. I think maybe this plastic piece needs to come out, but we're gonna take a look. Honestly, this is more for my reference. In the corner here, we've got 12 PT, 14 PT, E2 PT, E4 PT. Got our cams, L3EX and L3IN. All right, cams out. Actually, quite a bit easier than I expected, but progress. Now I'm gonna loosen up the intake manifold. Intake manifold bolts are out, so now everything I need to do left is pull out the 6 head bolts. So that's these guys, all 6 of these. I guess there's a sequence you have to kind of loosen them in, so I'm gonna look that up right now and hopefully get this head off tonight. We'll see. All right, just like that, one of the heads is off. Got my hardware kind of placed in a place where I can get at it easily and kind of know where things go. There it is. Gonna get some gasket removal spray and just take care of that at some point here pretty quick. All right, so I prepped the block on this side and just placed the head gasket in place to make sure it's fitting. It's looking good, which is a good sign. And then I'm going to bring the head into a machinist, and I labeled the cam buckets, I think they're called, because I got to pull those out before I bring it to the machine shop. And those came out pretty easily. Now I can bring the head in and get it machined, hopefully tomorrow. Figured while I'm waiting, decided to kind of put some of the seals in. They kind of sort of fit, but not super great. Might have to squirt a little silicone in there to keep it in place, but gotta have that. I also got some of the cam seals replaced at these 2 cams, at least, that came out. Obviously the other ones are in the car. Cooper's going away today. The Chesney's man is here. It's been an eventful night. Engine crane is gone. It's been raining outside. It's a vibe out here. I don't know if you can hear it at all. It's rainy. But I've been working on the car a little bit. I didn't necessarily intend to today, but here we are. Let me show you what's going on. I got my coolant lines sorted. I had to kind of build up a couple new hoses to go to the radiator. That's good. And then I'm gonna mount the fan to the back of the radiator frame, and we'll see how everything fits. That's what we got going on here. It's a good day. Just got back from a Volkswagen event that my brother put on. I was doing some video for him, but I've got my head back. There it is. Nice and clean there. I'm gonna slap the head gasket in. I was just doing some last minute cleanup on the motor here, so we're gonna start bolting this up and see what happens. And the head's back on just like that. I did have some issues. I did need to kind of start over. You saw the little time lapse, and that's all I really took, just so I could focus. But I actually had to pull each of those out, and I had to lube each of them as they went in with engine oil and in between the washers as well, just to make sure that that's good to go. That's what the procedure said. So now I'm gonna get all the cams back in and everything, and hopefully I'll be able to pull the other side apart too. So got one of the heads on and the cams in, kind of. Whoever put this thing back together last time must have not been very careful about stripping things. So some of these holes are stripped out. So I am going to have to do something about that, but the head's torqued up at least, and I've got the cam pulleys just kind of threaded on, and I've started taking off the other side because I need to bring this head to the machinist tomorrow, and while I'm waiting for this, I'll get this side sorted out. I really didn't want to do this. I wanted to have this side completely done, but we're pivoting. We have to do this. Okay, it's kind of getting late, but I got the other head off. Let me show you what I found. I've got the cam buckets out, but you should see the mating face of the head. I think it might be my leak. I'm not certain. I don't know much, but it could be here too. Doesn't look good, does it? Either way, I'm glad this is done. I'm gonna toss it into my car real quick. I'm gonna set it on a pizza box as to not get oil everywhere. There we go, snug as a bug. Gonna bring it over to Paul at Midwest tomorrow. Sneak peek at the daily, why not? This is my summer daily driver, 2000 TDI Bug on max speeding rod coilovers, a little bit low. A lot has happened since I've decided to video anything. I've had some setbacks. Basically, I've just been so focused on getting this thing back together. So on the passenger side, I've had some trouble with this particular cam, the upper intake cam, getting tight as I tighten all these. I've had a bunch of things, strip out and, just generally not go super well for me on this side. So I'm having a little trouble with this one, but this bottom one is all torqued up and still moves. I did get the other head back from the machinist. This side went together literally with no problems, and I have the valve cover back on and torqued up with the new valve cover gasket. This side was so much easier. I don't know how to explain the other side. It was just really, really bad. I do have two heads on the car now, so it's now just kind of finalizing everything. That side's good. Got to torque those two bolts up, and then once I make sure this side's okay, I can torque everything up. Put the valve cover back on and basically fill it with fluids, time it, and see if it bucks. All right, officially got this side back together. I've picked up the bolts I needed for the valve cover and slapped the wheel back on, torqued down. You can definitely tell it settles once I have it on the ground and it moves, because there's quite a bit more gap. This should almost be touching the tire, but we're working with old technology and aftermarket coilovers, and it'll settle back down once I move the car around. Probably going to let that sit. I might pull some stuff apart and troubleshoot, but if the bolts don't come, I will be putting the aftermarket front sway bar, and you can kind of see it in the corner there, and just get that out of the way before I bring it to the alignment shop. Last night was really nice. I felt like I actually made some good progress. Got the one side of the engine put back together, and it was like, oh my gosh, I've got one more cam that's causing me problems, and once that's done, I can basically, fill it with fluid and everything. It feels like the end might be in sight for the project, so I can actually drive. It is currently August, so yeah, it'd be really nice to be able to drive this thing all fall and enjoy the time, but we'll see, I guess. Good news tonight, I think. Let me show you. Look at this. I got it back together. Boop, boop, boop. I did end up sanding the inside of the cam caps that were a little bit tight. I did take the buckets out to try to see if those were the problem, and I don't think they were. I think the cam caps were a little tight, so I don't know. I basically polished them. I started with 1200, then I went up to 1500, and I didn't do it for very long, maybe 5 to 7 minutes each in total. And yeah, basically it bolted up, and I think it's gonna be fine. We'll see how it goes. It's good to see this back together again. I do need to torque those 4 bolts, but I kind of have everything. I've got the crank set to top dead center. Hopefully I can time this thing tomorrow. I did fill it up with oil using Mobil 1, high mileage, 5 dub 30. All right, back on 4 wheels, on 16 wheels as well. So yeah, the hope is tomorrow to time the thing. We'll see if that gets done. All right, the timing belt is on, so that's good. Did have trouble with this idler. The bolt hole stripped out, so I helicoiled it, but I've got everything timed up, and I'm gonna fill it with some coolant just for the water pump to eat a little bit, and I think we'll do a first start. Let's see if it runs. Actually, one more thing, I gotta try to build some oil pressure just to get some oil moving. Let's see. Battery's dead. Deader than a doornail. We're gonna have to charge the battery and come back to it. Dang it. I really wanted to see it run tonight. So that was kind of disappointing. I thought about actually charging the battery for this and I forgot to do it, which is a bummer. And yeah, I confirmed the battery's dead. So yeah, basically I just have to wait till the battery's charged. And I've got just a little trickle charger. Courtesy of Harbor Freight, the little Viking 4 ampere. Got that charging now, a little battery. I can hear the coolant kind of bubbling and moving around a little bit in the pipes, which is good. Hopefully some of the air bubbles that are inevitably in the system will kind of loosen up over the night. Probably just pop the radiator cap. Let's see if we can let any air bubbles come in and out. Should be easier to bleed this time with functioning head gaskets as well as my little thermostat modification. Let's try this again. Battery's charged. Awesome, I'm so glad it runs. Might be hearing kind of a ticking. I think I've got an exhaust leak at the manifold and block. I'm still missing a couple bolts, gotta bolt that up. Little friend came to join me. See that? We're not getting just explosive exhaust coming through the coolant anymore, and I'm seeing a few little bubbles kind of come up. I stuck a screwdriver in the throttle just to keep it a little bit more open, consistent. Still have a lot of air coming out. I revved it up and I was getting a lot of air out, so that's good. That's really encouraging. And I can see it kind of starting to come through here. I am having a weird idle issue. Feels a little inconsistent. A lot of air coming out. I had to bring it inside because it started to rain and thunder and lightning outside. As you can see, I got my fan running, which I figured was important for cooling. Just now all of the hot coolant that spilled on the radiator is kind of evaporating, so it got kind of a cloud in there. I know it looks bad, but it's probably not, right? Maybe to breathe. I think I did it. I think I got it bled, actually. Kind of incredible. Took this long, but we got it. That probably took like an hour or so. Revved it up a bunch of times just to keep coolant moving, and I think I got it here. Basically, the next thing is to wire the fan in officially to the old wiring that's there, and that isn't going to be too bad. It just looks kind of bad right now, which is fine. But then basically I can go take it on a test drive. My tabs are expired, so I'm going to see if I can run to the DMV tomorrow, and then I can hopefully give it a test drive this weekend. All right, one more thing. I mounted the license plate in the back of the motor. I think that looks actually really cool. License plate's going to be a little bit floppy, but that's okay. I think that looks really good. It's a win tonight, I think.